माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरवनचारी।
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 जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे।
निताई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल निताई गौर हरि बोल
निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल। Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Shripad, 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 Srila Shripad. Jaya Jaya
Sripad, 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 Srila Sripad.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Srila Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Srila Gurudev.
Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Nittai.
Nittai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nittai Gaura Hari Bol.
निताई गौरांग प्रेमानंदे हरि 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 बोल बोलो जय जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे श्याम निताई गौरांग भगवान जय जय श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
Narayanam Namaskritya
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
Param Chaiva Narottamam
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
ततो जयमुदीरये
Jayam Udiraye
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
Ashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
भगवती उत्तम श्लोके
Bhagavati Uttama Sloke
भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी
Bhavati Naistiki.
Welcome everyone in this part of Bhagavad Dharma, Param Dharma, Srimad Bhagavatam study and transcendental program. And we are in Canto 6, Chapter 16, entitled King Chitraketu Meets the Lord. Wow. And text number 15. The Shukdev Goswami continuing describing the episode and text number 15. Saitham prati buddhatma
Saitam Prati Buddhatma
Chitraketu dvijoktibhi
Raketur Dvijoktibihi
Grihantha kupan niskranta
Gruhanda Kupan Nishkrantaha
Sarapankadiva dvipa.
Taraha Pankadiva Dvipaha.
Translation by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Thus enlightened by the instructions of the Brahmanas Angira and Narada, King Chitraketu became fully aware of spiritual knowledge. As an elephant becomes free from a muddy reservoir of water, King Chitraketu came out of the dark well of family life. Responsibility, please. Thus enlightened by the instructions
Thus enlightened by the instructions
of the Brahmanas Angira and Narada,
of the Brahmanas Angira and Narada.
King Chitraketu became fully aware
King Chitraketu became fully aware
of his spiritual knowledge.
of spiritual knowledge.
As an elephant becomes free from a muddy reservoir
As an elephant becomes free from a muddy reservoir
of water,
of water,
King Chitraketu came out
King Chitraketu came out
of the dark well of family life.
of the dark well of family life.
Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Swarupa Damodar Swami Niti Namine Namah Sadbhaktamanaye Manipurodbhavaya Cha Srila Prabhupada Lasadvani Prachara Niratayate Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Nama Sankirtanam Yasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanas Tam Namami Harim Param. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Thus enlightened by the instructions of the Brahmanas Angira and Narada, King Chitraketu became fully aware of spiritual knowledge. As an elephant becomes free from a muddy reservoir of water, King Chitraketu came out of the dark well of family life. Wow, what an analogy. So, what was the enlightenment? Enlightenment is a multifaceted affair, actually. Incidents. Because the way he was stuck in the dark well of family life, it is compared to a muddy reservoir of water. You know, elephants love to be in the water, but when the water is muddy, what happens? So many obstacles. The vision becomes gloomy, and in the gloomy vision, what happens? The spirit also goes down. Low spirits, and like no direction visible for any progressiveness. Everything is unclear, hazy, unclear, depressive. How many analogies we can give? So this family life, Grihanda Kupa, two places in Srimad Bhagavatam in our study. This Grihanda Kupa. Two more places, not but one is Grihanda Kupa in the teachings of Prahlad Maharaj, the famous shloka of 755. No? And another is also within the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj in Chitkento somewhere. So, what is enlightenment here pertains? What is he thinking? The thing which these two great Mahatmas, pure devotees, have done in their life, especially Narad Muni, is amazing. He can see they are most blessed, how powerful they are. Direct mercy of Krishna is dependent on the Mahat Kripa. We don't see the Lord directly interfering in the life of living entities. Because Krishna says, Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dveshosti na priya. So if Krishna makes someone on his own accord, oh, this is suffering so much, so let me take personal care of him. How many living entities Krishna will have to liberate everybody, because now Krishna has set a bad precedence for him. Oh, you showed special mercy on someone for no reason. So Krishna is always looking for reason. He is causeless. The Bhagavatam establishes that causeless mercy is never of Krishna. Causeless mercy is always of a pure devotee, because a pure devotee goes out of his way. Esham sa esha Bhagavan dayed ananta sarvatmana shrita yadi nirvyalikam. Who will cause the living entity to become duplicity free and take shelter of the Supreme Lord? The mercy the unlimited mercy which the Lord is bestowing all over, it's like a sun. Sun is, but sun does not enter the closed chambers, But Jahana pahuche Ravi, taha pahuche Kavi. Kavi means the pure devotee. They just go knock at the door, where the sun cannot enter, does not enter. Well, sun is also independent. Krishna is supremely independent, correct? So this is what the role of the pure devotee. And when the person can see in black and white the position, the divine position, the most blessed position of a pure devotee, that is most enlightening. Because everybody in this material world, in human form of life, with whatever conditioning they have, they think they are very intelligent. Whatever desire they have, they justify it. The same thing with Chitraketu. He thinks I'm such a huge, such a big king. The whole kingdom, all praja can have a son. And being a king, why should I remain deprived? See, the karma cycle is very tremendous. But because of his piety, because of his following religious principles, inevitably the Mahatmas come on their own accord. He did not invite So we can see the Mahat Kripa is supremely independent. Nirpeksha, there's a word Nirpeksha. The Krishna Kripa is Sapeksha, but devotee's Kripa is Nirpeksha. And he sees how blessed these are. The king got his mundane or this sansara asakti, sansara vasana kabe mora tuchha habe, correct? That famous song by Nautam Das Thakur, sansara vasana mora kabe tuchha habe. So this king, however attached he was in sansara vasana, especially to get a son, now he could see, yes, how is it possible that son died and then he came to life again. So these pure devotees are more merciful than the Supreme Lord. And how much the Lord is controlled by them. Vidhi is that if one has died, one has left his body, how he can come back? But it's special mystic, by special potency of Narad Muni, that he brought the son back to. So he thinks that how can I follow in their footsteps? How can I become their prema bhakti? They have bound the Lord through their love. How can I also attain pure bhakti? So we should the prem bhakti. This is the desire so that is very enlightening. That is the realization the king is. So always when a sadhaka realizes the most blessedness of a sadhu, and especially of the spiritual master, then he is just within, he has entered the realm of full realization. Like Prabhupada writes in the translation says, became fully aware of spiritual knowledge. Fully aware of spiritual knowledge. Spiritual means which connects to the Supreme, because spirit unites, connects. And then the matter which causes division, my son, the king wants to have his son. Like many times people don't have children, they adopt, and then they start developing this affinity. Yes, this is my son. And like that. So this self-centeredness, everybody is craving for that kind of fulfillment, that we can have that kind of thing. So he could see right in that the kind of infatuation he had for getting a son and becoming happy, it is so illusory. When the illusion hard hit, hard hit. Yes, what I was thinking, I was ready to invest billions whole life to get a son, and that illusion is shattered like anything. So the analogy drawn is very, very to the point. An elephant became free from muddy reservoir. Another way of when muddy reservoir, it is very difficult for the elephant to come out. Sometimes muddy, and it just goes down and down. It's the more one tries, and more one becomes entangled. It's Vihanda Kupam. Anda Kupam means it's darkness, dark well. There is no direction. It's how far anything around. So that is the analogy given in this portion. So the message is very clear. When we come across this episode, this understanding in this section of Srimad Bhagavatam, those who are aspiring to get a son, because they say one should get married to get a son, but son is no guarantee to become a pure devotee. Bhagavat teaches us that our only or the ultimate or the exclusive purpose in this human form life is to become a pure devotee. Correct? So to what extent we meddle with our primary focus. The gross and subtle attachment based on the body, and they trap us. They trap us. Asat grihan. Asat means temporary, and they bind us, and that is the big, and that is caused because of asat sangha. Tato dusangam utsijya. That's why the dusanga, which encourage the society, family, everybody all around us, because they are trapped themselves. So that's the only experience they have. They have no experience of enlightenment. So how can an unenlightened person really help us? Those of us who are on this path of enlightenment, how can we afford to listen to them? What would be our input or in reciprocation if we feel so indebted to them for many things? But how are we helping them spiritually? Because materially, gross and subtle, we have been helping and getting the help, stuck since eternity just here. So the self-centeredness, because the real interest of the living entity is the Supreme Lord, it causes us losing the focus of the urgency of becoming a pure devotee. That's the point. And so everyone should therefore seek the shelter of the Supreme Soul. There is a very beautiful prayer by Prahlad Maharaj in 5th canto. If you go, it's very amazing. Prahlad Maharaj lives in which verse? Hari verse. In Hari verse, he worshipped Lord Nrsimhadev and his friends. Of course, he is born in demoniac family, Asura. So the prayers are very, very amazing, powerful. And this is interesting here in case of King Chitraketu, this Grihanda Kupam, this appears, and again in 7th canto and also in 5th canto, it appears. It says the highest interest of the living entity described. Harim hi sakshat Bhagavan Sharirinam. Sharirinam is embodied soul. Harir hi sakshat Bhagavan Sharirinam Atma Jhasyanam. Eva toyam ipsitam. How the aquatics desire. What is water for the aquatics? And imagine this analogy given, very, very powerful. It's alive. It causes them the nourishment. Without water, if they come out, the crocodile or any fish come out of water, what happens? They lose their potency. Similarly, the connection to the Supreme. Haririhi Sakshat, Bhagavan Sharirinam, to all the living entities, and his soul, Lord Krishna, shelter of Lord Krishna, or the abode of the Supreme Lord, is just like water for the crocodiles. How amazing this! The living entity cannot be happy without taking shelter of the Supreme Lord. Hitva mahanstam yadi sajjate grihe. So, without adopting the real joy, real fulfillment, or real life, taking shelter of the Supreme Lord, if one gives up that shelter, hitva, Mahanstam yadi sajjate grihe. He thinks he is very great. However great he might be situated in the worldly situation, if he does not take shelter of the Supreme Lord, then his position would be like crocodiles out of water. Tada mahatvam vayasa dampati nam. So dampati, the young couple, they think, yes, life is great. My, you are my sweetheart, I am your sweetheart, and we are made for each other. So this entanglement, this on the bodily platform, it is very, very prominent, and it wipes out any possibility, at least for the time being, until the message becomes very strong through realization of Chitraketu. Chitraketu has been stuck for after marrying 10 million wives. Can you imagine? For thousands and thousands of years, he was stuck. It's very difficult, man. So until a pure devotee sadhu on their own accord, causeless mercy comes in the life of a pious person or impious person, doesn't matter, because causeless mercy does not depend on any cause, does not depend on any qualification of a sadhaka. The living entities, they know. They don't wait for the inspiration from the Lord. If the Lord inspires me, I will go out of my way and just knock it. No, they already know that Lord has blessed me through a pure devotee. So now it is my mission. It's my obligation to my Sri Guru, to Sri Krishna, to the Supreme Lord, that I come out and bring that same portion, become instrument at least, because ultimately the Lord uses his pure devotee to cause that mercy to a conditioned soul, and that is very, very essential. So, but many householders, although they are very educated, very well situated in many things, education-wise and everything, knowledge of the Vedas, still become attracted to family life. Why? Because they say the Vedas don't deny it, but Vedas never express that this is a necessity of life. The other day we were discussing, right? This family entanglement for a human being is not a necessity. It is not a necessity. The Vedas don't say dharma is the ka moksha on the bodily platform. But the necessity of the soul is prema, the love of Godhead. To take shelter of the Supreme Lord is the necessity of life. So no one should waste the time in so-called happiness of materialistic household life. Srila Prabhupada describes it's like a crippled mentality. Crippled life. Household life means crippled life. Can you imagine how much it can deprive us of our real focus? Means all our taking shelter of Bhagavad study, everything, especially those who have not entered this household life, if they have proper association of enlightened souls. So Sri Guru is the one who is fully enlightened. He's fully enlightened. If I perceive a sadhu is fully enlightened, then we got the ideal in front of us. Everybody wants an ideal to follow. Without ideal, instructions won't so much effect. Just I give an example. There was a yoga teacher, correct? In yoga teacher, he would teach yoga to many people who would come. And one person, one client or one student, he was a fruit vendor. So he had a lot of fruits all around. And he had to go through, see the fruits. The fresh fruit gets sold and new fruits come, and like this. So the teacher asked him to close the eyes and just do some meditative practices. And then every time he would close the eyes, he would say, he would see only fruits, because whole day he was just thinking of and dealing with fruits. So he told his teacher, sir, you told me to, he asked him to put fruits in front of him, like hang a thread, and on the thread, you just latka dijiye thode fruits, banana, apple, orange, whatever, all the fruits, papaya, just meditate on them. And so the teacher told him that, and he would do that. And he said, what else I have to do? He said, no, just do that. Then the fruits got rotting. banana started getting rotten little bit, and then he thought, now he should give me new instructions, as if, just put the throw the old fruits which are rotting and just bring the fresh fruits. So he asked, should I do? No, 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 no. You just keep the same fruit for at least a week, 10 days. So he was doing this. Now he was seeing these fruits were really in bad shape. This disgusting, some juice was coming out and it was dried up and they were in a very bad shape. So now he felt disgusted about the fruits. Now we don't become interested in a disgusting thing, correct? So this is exactly happened to that person. So the teacher would have told, yes, fruit have this cycle, they just get rotten, so just do this. No, but he made him wait on the same fruit for 10 days, 12 days, whatever, until they really were in a bad shape. And then even without the fruit, he was able to not meditate on the fruit. So the whole idea is realization means, enlightening means able to see through the end result. That is enlightening. The Sambandha Gyan is there, that we are part and parcel of the Lord. Then Abhideya section, and ultimately how to become situated in transcendence, how to become absorbed in the thought of Krishna. Not only in sadhana bhakti, we try to absorb ourselves, but still the distractions are unlimited. But the things which cause distractions to us, when they lose their attraction, distraction and attraction, they are the same two aspects of the same coin. So the things which distract us, when they lose their attraction, then we find our real attraction to the real thing. So the cycle of seeing through this King Chitraketu is seeing through this trap, this attraction of a sun. It causes the ultimate misery. So then he came out of it. So, and this family entanglement, it is the cause of all miseries. Tasmad rajo raga vishad manyu manas priha. Prahlad Maharaj said, manas priha bhaya dainyadhi moolam hitva griham sansriti chakravalam. Again, Prahlad Maharaj, hitva griham, grihanda kupam, and another is hitva griham samsriti chakravalam, gandham kupam samsriti chakravalam, which continues our repetition in birth and death and birth. Hitva griham samsriti chakravalam nisingapadam bhajitam kuto bhayami. So the advice to his followers, Prahlad Maharaj, to his associates, is telling, yes, there's no way we can let go. We must take shelter of Lord Nrsimhadev. Because without that, what happens? Our entanglement in this household life, tasmad rajah, the passion of material desires, raga means attachment for material things, vishad, all these disappointments, manyu means anger, vishada manyu, bhaya, fear, dainyadhi moolam. Dainya means poverty. We feel so humbled by many things. A household person has to feel very humbled. He has to tolerate a lot. He has to tolerate the insults, and just to make the two ends or fulfill his household needs, sometimes he has to really, really become very humble, because so many people are depending on him, and he is taking such a big responsibility. So deliberately he is. So that's the main cause. Hitva griham samsriti chakravalam. Srila Prabhupada says that hitva griham, that should be the goal of every sadhaka. If they have entered household life, then 50 is the limit. 50 is the limit. One must come out. One must come out. Because without that, there is no end. It has no end. Like the muddy water. Muddy water is not transparent. One just gets so much asatera satya karimani. The asat, the temporary, becomes the reality for him, and he never searches out. He loses the impetus to search out the reality of life, and inattentive in his consciousness, the death comes and grabs him. And whatever consciousness, whatever attachments he has still remain with, that becomes his destination or destiny, whatever. So the instructions of Srimad Bhagavatam, they are very, 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 very important. So what we can say about it. But ultimately, when we, for sadhaka, how we will stay in transcendence, we have to appreciate transcendence all around us, especially among the god brothers and associates. What happens oftentimes, the same lingering effect of the residual effect of our material conditioning, in the material, everybody is trying to catch up to someone and go ahead. I may have given this example. Just see how a sadhaka loses the sukoon of life. Sukoon ko kya kehte hain English mein? The real joy of spiritual life. Just think of a person enjoying jogging. Jogging in the garden. Suppose the circle is 1 kilometer in America. Many gardens circle like that. And one is enjoying this jogging without any distraction, correct? Just jogging, enjoying, seeing the atmosphere, the pond, greenery, everything. And suddenly he notices some person jogging ahead of him 400 meters. So now that first distraction, what it does, it just rekindles his material conditioning to go ahead of someone or to equal someone. Now his focus is not to just relax and jog freely. Now his focus is, how can I catch up to him? Now he's sprinting little faster and faster and faster. His whole focus is gone. His focus has become to catch up to someone and just go ahead. Before the 1 kilometer mark comes, I have to go ahead of him. See, he loses. He has lost the joy of jogging without distraction. So among sadhakas also, to begin with, we imbibe many good discipline and trying to show respect to others, all the Vaishnavas, and never expecting respect for oneself, and giving the benefit of doubt to the other god brothers and others, seeing that nobody is in this world, koi doodh ka dhoya nahi hota. Nobody is blemish free. At least let us at least establish nobody is blemish free. Lord Krishna says also, no karma, no activity is free from fault. So how can you just give up any activity? Whatever you have to do it, you have to perform your dharma. So as far as बुरा जो देखन में चला बुरा न मिलिया कोई जो दिल खोजा आपना मुझसे बुरा न कोई. It's very, very convenient to see the shortcomings in others, but we can see only our judgmental point of view. Others are not as bad. The conditioning they are brought in, and the sacrifice the other sadhakas, god brothers, have made. If we appreciate this aspect, we will find that they are all so glorious, all wonderful, glorious. So if they are situated in a greater glory comparatively, give them, let them have it, because if you allow it, Krishna becomes extremely pleased. Paramatma becomes extremely pleased. Sri Guru becomes extremely pleased. Just imagine, suppose 4 or 5 disciples of Sri Guru, and Sri Guru finds a special affinity towards one disciple. So now the other 3 or 4, what they will say, they will always say, oh, why is getting all the focus? Why is getting all the importance? But do we allow our Sri Guru, who is our God, to have his freedom? Or without him? Why he has to just put so much importance to one disciple? If one thinks like that, rather, what should be reality? Rather than having the negative thought about the others, what is really required is that, oh, he's so dear, he is so much endeared to my Sri Guru. So anything which is dear to my Sri Guru, it should also become dear to me, isn't it? If a person is enlightened, that's why when Chitragupta says, Prabhupada says, he became fully enlightened. Fully enlightened means he could see what is in his best interest. So a disciple also, when he sees if someone has endeared himself to the spiritual master, then he should also become dear to me. That opportunity, how can I afford to lose? Yes. So then what happens? I will make him endear to myself. If he's so dear to my spiritual master, wow, this is great. Then I want to endear myself to him. I want to make him very honorable, and also followable. Followable. I can do certain things which he does, which Guru Maharaj likes. So without getting instruction from the spiritual master, I can just imbibe certain tenets, certain style from that, because our focus is also to endear ourselves to the spiritual master, but not at the cost of, not by putting someone down, or trying to outsmart someone, or just to equate someone or go ahead of. No, that is not. Rather, it is the safest position to see every sadhaka, every god brother ahead of oneself. Then our service attitude would be developed. So here, King Chitraketu, when he became fully enlightened, now he really feels to surrender unconditionally. What a blessing to be called, to be in the shelter of a pure devotee. And then others, if others have also taken shelter, then we are in a most fortunate club. About 25 years ago, 20 years ago, once I went to Bangalore, only time I went to Bangalore. There was one relative of ours, when they knew that we are traveling through South India. So they made sure that we visit their home. And they are very, very opulent, very affluent people. And so when we entered their arena, means it was like complex, villas. So the name of the villa was what? Name of the villa was Arab Patiyon ka Villa. Arab Pati Villa. There is still one in Bangalore, at least, because I visited it. And I said, wow, Arab Pati Villas, that means everybody who's entering this villa, everybody is very affluent. Arab Pati means everybody has hundreds and thousands of crores. That means everybody has made it. So when people, when the Arab Patis or the billionaires, they meet, do they envy each other? Do they try to outsmart each other? No, they just relish the company. Yes, you have made it, I have made it. They just, because at that level, everybody is able to get whatever they want. It's not that somebody buys a Rolls Royce, the other person cannot buy. Everybody can get, so there is nothing to show to each other. So among God brothers, we are all billionaires. We are unlimitedness. We have got a pure devotee for us to take shelter of. So what else we are missing? We must be able to appreciate all of our God brothers, at least the God brothers, to be the most fortunate. And I have to also become most fortunate. So most fortunate, don't envy the most fortunate. It gets one to no one. So when we realize that we have become most fortunate, then we will see everybody around us most fortunate. So thank you very much. And this is a wonderful episode. We must, it is our obligation to find that full enlightenment which is described here. If a Chitraketu can get it, we are not as worse. So we have great hope, and all of us, everybody who's listening, everybody who's participating, it's an open opportunity, and we must go for it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj Ji. Thank you for this wonderful class. Yeah, if anyone is having any question, they can raise the hand. Hare Krishna Maharaj Ji.
Yes.
Yeah, so I have a question.
That's most welcoming.
Here it is said that Chitraketu is now aware of entire spiritual knowledge. So, what does it indicates, or what does it mean?
Yes, identifying a pure devotee, how blessed, fully blessed. So he wants to become like that, So when our resolve comes that I want to become a Premi Bhakta, how the Lord is pleased with them, how the Lord, they are most blessed. So it is, they want to, he wants to become a pure devotee. He wants to become a Premi Bhakta, because only Premi Bhakta Krishna is controlled by, correct? So he doesn't want to just remain, and he really, so when we identify a pure devotee or most blessed devotee, Sri Guru, then the only goal left to us is, I want to become a pure devotee. So that determination is full enlightenment. Correct? Determination is good enough, correct? If we are absolutely determined to become a pure devotee, we will end up becoming one. We are already in the process. So the process itself puts us in transcendence. Unlike other processes, where the means and the end are different, but on our path, even the beginning devotee from the very first day, he should be honored as a pure devotee. If he engages karmana mansa vaja 24/7 in the process of pure devotional service, then he's a pure devotee. It's just like any path, beginning is connected to the end, isn't it? Don't you think? So if we just stay on the path, spontaneity will come. In the beginning stage, we have so much struggle to try to remember Krishna, finding so many distractions and everything. But if we keep the association and make our association safe and intact, that determination must be there, that we will not do anything which becomes detrimental for our distraction or struggle is there. Struggle is real. Even while chanting, I think of so many things. But a day will come when our absorption in the service of Sri Guru Gauranga would take over, and we will lose all the distractions which will take us away from that desire, from that focus to please Sri Guru Gauranga. So that is the thing. Now he doesn't want to take any risk. He just fully committed to take shelter of a pure devotee and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when a person becomes fully committed, no more distractions, I have seen through it, then that is full enlightenment. All right.
Yes, Maharaji, thank you very much. Yeah, we have a question by Balramji, please make it short. First, we do have 2 more questions.
Yes, Hare Krishna Maharaji, Dandot Pranam.
Hare
Very
Krishna.
nice episode of Chitraketu. And so in these 2 chapters, so everything, all the situations were created by the mystic power of the gurus, Narada Muni and Angira Muni. So, the guru is actually giving us the path, how to transcend all these materialistic
Entanglement.
pains. Yeah. So, could you explain that a little bit? How, in this case, the importance of guru and how he controls the situation to enlighten the disciples.
Chitraketu needed special dose, na?
Yeah.
Special dose, because he was trapped like big time. So our trap is not really strong. We have no idea what it would like to rule the kingdom, to have so much opulence, so much at one's disposal to have. Actually, Srimad Bhagavatam is rescuing us all. Our entanglement is the means and the things are very, very, very less. Because to attain that transcendence, to attain that full enlightenment, the kings sacrificed their big kingdom. Bharat Maharaj left his kingdom, the whole Prithvi, kingdom of the whole earth, like Malavat is a description. Malavat, just like a stool. When we leave the stool from our body, we don't associate with it anymore, correct? So just like Malavat, he left the whole kingdom and its entanglement and all these things. Just imagine, our entanglement is very minimal. Gramad vanam kshiti bhujopi yayur yadatha martyastayanu savamedhi taya mukundas Srimad Katha Shravana Kirtan Chintayeti Tadhama Dustara Kritant Javab Vargam Gramad vanam kshiti bhujopi yayur yadatha. Go to the last shloka of 10th canto. Okay, so it describes how serious it is. The totally entangled king have so much entanglement, so much availability of sense gratification, so much glory. Can you imagine the status of a king and the things? Everybody is just looking up to him, how to give up. But the purpose of a human form of life is the saints enter the kingdom and they preach to the king also. Okay, king, you have ruled enough. Now your son is ready. Now pass on this reign. Your time is up. So Gramad Manam Kshiti Bhujopi. Great kings also, to attain that transcendental abode where there is no rule of death. So this death has to be addressed before it grabs us. So before death comes, we have to. It is our obligation as a participant of Bhagavad Dharma, Bhagavad study, that we put ourselves, our consciousness, to transcendence. And so the easiest way is to identify a person who is totally, absolutely situated in transcendence. It's not easy for a conditioned soul to spot someone, because external appearance could be sometimes baffling. That's why we must beg Krishna's mercy. We must beg Krishna to reveal to us, reveal in the heart, and see who has endeared himself to his spiritual master. That is a very, very safe criterion. Other criteria also may be there. One becomes very learned in scriptures, and through scriptural vision, if one wants to go, but when one becomes very learned, he has so many ideas and it becomes more and more difficult to think that someone could be more intelligent than him. Unless he comes across someone really, really super intelligent. But that is also one possibility. Or if you believe in someone, some friend or some well-wisher, and if he accept his judgment, then that is also one possibility. But the best thing is just we have to cry out to Krishna. We have to pray to Krishna, and Krishna reveals in the heart some inspiration, some connection. Then it becomes very easy. So enlightenment for King Chitraketu is that, yes, they are my best well-wisher. And I want to follow them. So this absolute desire to follow a pure devotee is a full enlightenment, because determination, then it leads to perfection. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Maharaj. Very nice. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Vallamji, for the question, and thank you, Maharaj, for the answer. Yeah, Amritaji, please ask your question.
Pranam Shri Guru Maharaj, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
It's a wonderful lecture. And my question is that as we know that the mercy, how important the mercy of Sri Guru, and without that, it is very difficult to come out from the entanglement of the material world. But even though we know, but even if our near ones are suffering from the entanglement of the material world, and how we are able to convince them that this is the right path. Without this it is not possible. How we are able to convince?
Yeah, that's why prayer is very essential. On one's own accord, it becomes oftentimes very, very difficult. But we must come out, correct? This desire, this desire must be inculcated. Um, yes, how long I want to remain trapped into it. Of course, when in the household, especially for the ladies, and they always need shelter, and the 3 generations in the childhood by the father, in the youth by the husband, and in the advanced age under the protection of the son or someone. So it's ultimately developing. Like Srila Prabhupada says that one must enter Vanaprastha after one's minimum obligations of taking care of the children, putting them in, if they have to get married, or daughter especially, then they can just check out. Yes, because otherwise checking out becomes difficult at the age of 75 or something like that. People become so much used to that home comfort. So 50, as the Mahatmas describe, after 50 one should make a very conscious effort to pull oneself out. So by 50, 55 or whatever, one is one can become free from the necessary obligations of entering the human household life, taking care of the children. Once the children's responsibility is finished, why should one remain entangled like that? So one has to desire very, yes, I want to become free, and then it is possible. All right.
Okay. Thank you. Nice. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you,
Hey,
Maharaj.
anyone wants to add? Maharaj wants to add something, some idea or
Yeah,
something.
Maharaj is there. Yes. Maharaj, please.
Another Pranam Maharaji.
And Pranam all goes to Sasi Bhagaya.
All glories to your holiness. Maharaji, we have heard another example of the elephant which throws mud after taking bath. In this verse, we are seeing a opposite example. Example is given that the feeling of an elephant which comes out of muddy reservoir of water. So your holiness can throw some light on that, because we have no previous exposure to such conception.
Yeah. Well, I was also contemplating and trying to connect it to today's. It's the haziness. It's muddy thing, means it cripples the vision. It cripples the vision, and that's why we can see King Chitraketu, his vision, his vivek, his discretion, everything. He's so trapped into his mundane fulfillment that now he feels free from that trap. So just like an elephant, a heavy trap in a muddy reservoir of water. So he got stuck. It's difficult to when in the when the muddy one becomes stuck in the mud. It's difficult on his own to pull out. He's just crying. Oh, I don't have a son. I don't. When can I get a son? He's so much trapped into that mundane fulfillment. Somebody has to pull him out. So it was a big endeavor. Sometimes the elephant has to be pulled out by the ropes or something. He's stuck. Just one understanding could be that, free from muddy reservoir of water, because he enters He enters the water thinking that the water will be fun for him. Elephants like water, but instead of clean water, if the water is the lake is very muddy, then he's trapped there. No? That's the idea, I think. Because otherwise, in the natural proclivity of an elephant, that when he has good shower, good bath in the lake, he's cleansed. He comes out, and he loves to play with the dry mud or dhul. No, manne kunjar shochvat, like Bhagavatam says in 6th canto. Manne kunjar shochvat. This atonement, in the section of atonement, Parikshit Maharaj is asking that such kind of atonement of karma kanda and gyan kanda, I think they are just especially karma kanda. It is like an elephant taking a good bath in the lake and then coming out and just throwing some mud or sand on his body. So what's the purpose of cleaning in a good water if one has to become dirty again? But this muddy water here, we can think in that he's stuck there, and some magic had to pull him out like this.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thank you. Got it. It's not just muddy water. It is like kind of sag. He is sinking inside,
Yes.
and unable to come
Yes.
out. In English, what?
Yes. Yes.
Something-
Yes.
I don't know the word, but now I'm remembering.
Yes. In America, there are many lanes which are like what you call such. If one becomes trapped there, then he goes down and down and down. So that's why there is no construction in those areas. Water, there is a particular word described near the ocean. Many land which are wetland. Yeah, wetland. In Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama, Florida, there are certain wetland, and for miles and miles from there is no construction because the land is very muddy. It appears like land, green, but it's very muddy. So there's no hard land. So that's the idea.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. All right, Sanatana Goswami.
Yes, Maharaji. Our Nirmada Prabhuji is having a question, it seems.
Welcome.
Yeah. Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Kahiye.
My question is like how this laser type of focus will come in spiritual life. Did you understand, Maharaj?
Leisure like?
Laser like focus, like
Leisure.
no, not laser. How we will get very strong focus in spiritual life.
Okay. Yes, that's why I say that if you find someone, if you see someone fully blessed, that one person is enough. We are all in search of an ideal. One is enough actually, because without identifying at least one, we will entertain ourselves for so many options. We'll say who is perfect, without ourselves. Without that, who is that pure? That's why the spiritual master comes in the picture, in the life. We have to. It is a privilege. It is the great joy. It is a great honor. Whatever you want to say, it's a great. Privilege is the only closest comes. It's a great privilege to come in touch, to come in shelter of a pure devotee. That conviction will carry us all the way. Because what that conviction, it sets us on this path of becoming a pure devotee ourselves, oneself. So when that focus is gained by identifying at least one person as the purest devotee, for having dedicated his life through his words, actions, and speech in the service of Guru Gauranga, that would suffice actually. We don't have to look for many. Just one would do. And then when our focus is gained, we will realize that everybody is ahead of me. You know, because you can handle your situation, and others are performing so well in spite of their conditioning. If you were in their situation, do you think you could perform that much? We wonder, sometimes my situation is not so good. If I wish if I was in that position or that way, if I had that kind of body, or if I had this kind of education. No. Because in those situations, how would you handle your thing? You don't know. Whatever position we are in individually, that is the best position we have. I cannot claim that Neelamadha, if I was in your position, I would be better off than you. I cannot, because I do not know how I would handle your situation better than you are. So that way, when this spiritual awakening, when we spot a pure devotee, the strong desire to become a pure devotee myself, then my situation is handleable for me. Other situation won't be as handleable, whether I am in poverty or rich, or this situation, that situation, time, place, and circumstances. I am familiar to my position mostly, and to modify my situation is easier than putting myself in the shoes of others and thinking I can progress better. No, everybody has the same goal. Goal is to become a pure devotee, and whatever is essential for it, I will incorporate. So that determination comes, and ultimately, why one has to worry? All one has to look up to the spiritual master. As long as he's personally, physically present, that all one needs. And once if he's so that's a great opportunity while he's present. And one day, everybody unmanifest themselves as we related with them, dealt with them. Then in the meantime, you become a pure devotee yourself, then, so that you can provide the inspiration for others to follow. That is Guru Parampara. No? If you become inspired by someone, then you also become so pure that you become the source of inspiration for others. So that focus has to be there. And so that continuity of our mission. Our Guru Maharaj always emphasized that our mission will outlive all of us, correct? So as long as we are living and with the focus, we'll do our part as much as Krishna uses us as an instrument, but we have to sustain our readiness to be utilized by him. We have to pray to Krishna. Yes, I'm fully ready. Oh Sri Guru, I'm fully ready for you. What do you want from me? I'm fully ready unconditionally. This is my situation. This is my thought and all these things. So what course of action I should take? And please, and so Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittete Kariya Ikya Arana Kariyo Mane Asha. There is no other desire other than the will of the spiritual master. And then we are set in life, actually. Other things, how much we will accomplish, or what kind of sacrifice I have made. If I had done this, I would have got this. But nothing, no accomplishment on the worldly platform will make us a pure devotee. So pure devotee becoming has to be our primary focus. Then external situations, they won't make much difference. Hare Krishna. All right.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
All right.
Yeah. We have got a message. Thank you, Maharaj. Yes. Yeah, Maharaj, we can conclude.
Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo अनंत कोटि वैष्णव श्रीपाद गुरु महाराज की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि
Hare Hare Bol. His Holiness Bhakti Swarup Govind Maharaj ki jai. Thank you, Anandal, for joining. See you all in tomorrow's class. Hare Krishna.